Hi, my name's Rose again. Just kind of going over some of the delusions. So these are stories with my narcissist. These, again, are my situations. These are my side of the story. And I'm just sharing what is my reality, okay? So I'm going to share a story, and I've talked about this other person a few times, or at least once. And so I'm just going to go over. I'm going to share a little bit of the screen. I don't know if you can see it. Anyways, this person sends a shot that says, I will never forget the time together, the night at the hotel, the times laughing at the school. I pray one day we'll be together. Missing and still love you, XOXO. So, again, block out this person's information, although their phone number since changed. This person knew he had a girlfriend. He obviously knew he was living in my house, right? So it's not like he didn't know, like, oh, I didn't know we were exclusive. So he has no excuse. She, on the same time, knew about me. And that's what she's saying. I hope one day we'll be together, and we had to go the night at the hotel. He told me he was going to his mother's. Yes, that's what he told me. He said he was going to go see his mom. And his mom's, right at the time, she wasn't 70 yet, but she was almost there. And he was telling me that she was having some, health issues. So the GPS and the Wi-Fi signal came up as a hotel, which I thought was quite interesting. So it turns out he actually wasn't at his mom. He spent the night with this other girl. Okay. And she actually wanted to confront me and tell me that she had another boyfriend at his job at night after they had whatever they had in the backseat of her car at his job. That's how dirty she is. So I'm just going to put it out there because, these women don't care. Not all of them, but this one. And she's here locally in my city. Actually, she lives about a half hour south in the city and then works here locally for a nonprofit. So I'm not going to give out too many details, just, because again, even though I have the screenshots and the pictures and the naked pictures she sent him. But what I find interesting and why I keep this, because I'm like, why do you keep that? Isn't that painful? Did you see that, right? I took a picture of it. I took a picture of the message, kind of as my reminder, because when I confronted him and her, she denied it too, even though I'm going to kind of cover out her face. But there's a picture of her right here standing outside of her car. Yeah, that's her standing outside of her car, right? She actually has some nude pictures as well, which I won't post on social media. That's not appropriate. So I knew exactly. And she puts on there too. Underneath it. Just in case your girl sees this, so she doesn't forget what I look like. So she knew I was his girlfriend. She knew he had a girlfriend. And she still had no problem going to his work and telling him that she loved him. And then when I confronted him about this, his response is, that's not what she meant by that. Really? Because that sure looks like she wants to be with you. And the way I'm reading this, just in case you see this, don't forget me. I haven't forgot about you, honey. Don't think I have. Because you know what? That's not a real lady. They have words for that I can't use on social media. But women that know that a man is with a woman and is okay with it and going to his work to have sex in their back seat, in their car or behind Home Depot when he was working at an auto place on Carpenter Road when he was working there outside of Home Depot and, hitting those side streets or going out to the beauty school that he works at and having sex in the closed business next door in their parking lot or behind the building. I'm sorry, that's not appropriate. That's not a lady. And I'm sorry, you're apparently okay with him having that. And he'll lie to you. My narcissist, don't think he didn't lie. And he was positive and somehow twisted it into me and gaslighted me completely, right? And then after that, denying this, and yes, this is the one I had to get a restraining order because she came and put chocolate all over my car. And every now and then she'll come by and do something to my car. So it hasn't stopped. But the courts, the way she see it is, she may be harassing me, but she hasn't threatened me, so I can't get a restraining order. Because throwing chocolate, I guess, on my car out your window, I guess, is not something worth a restraining order against. I guess it's perfectly okay to put chocolate syrup all over someone's car and throw coffee on it every year on the 10th of whatever month it is that I attempted to try to get her with a restraining order, and ultimately she had to cut off contact with him because I contacted her work. Did not have her work or have her phone send me messages anymore either about how much she wanted him. Because my attitude is like, take him. Like, you know what? I'm not going to fight for some man. If you don't want to be with me, take him. And then he's denying it. I never wanted her. She just won't stop, on and on and on. And he got me to the point where I believed him, which is sad because I have the evidence. I have the evidence. I do. I have the proof. I have the proof. Right here. Right here. I have the proof. And I still didn't believe it. And to this day, I'm sitting there looking back going, why didn't I believe it at the time? How stupid was I? But it's that gaslighting. It's the convincing that everything's going to be okay and everything's not what it says. And they will convince you, they will lie, even with the evidence directly in front of them. And they will lie to you, and everything's there. And it really sucked. It was a really bad situation. I wish I had more. Tons of messages. This woman would not stop. Like, she had different messages, different phone numbers. It was all bad. It was a really bad situation, and it was very bad. And so I just want you to know that, he's got his narcissist supply. He's convinced that this is all you. So he convinced this other girl that it was all me. I was the delusional one. I was making this stuff up, that we really weren't together. Yeah, he even tried that in one of his messages to her. And then he's like, oh, well, we'll be together. Tell her that we're not together, so that'll give me 30 days for us to find a place together. So she wanted to meet with me, but I already knew. It's like, what? And he just gaslighted me and told me it was. And, some physical altercations happened. And I do have the bruises from when that happened. I kept pictures of stuff like that. Just as my constant reminder of how far I've come and how free I am, that I'm not in that situation anymore. So I just want you to remember that don't be surprised. Like, don't be surprised. And these women, I'm just going to cover their names and their faces. They send pictures. They have no problem sending their pictures out, right? And that one's closed. Don't worry. Most of those messages they send, I have tons of them. Yeah, I took pictures. All right? I take pictures so I know I'm not losing my mind, right? Because they'll convince you it's all in your head. And it's like, no, I read it. I know that's what it said. I didn't read that wrong. So I took pictures so I can come back and look and go, you know what? That's not what it said. I was right. I'm not losing my mind. He's losing his mind. The narcissist is wrong. So I want you to, if you have to do that to reassure yourself that you're not going crazy, you're okay, and you're going to get through this. And what they say is lies and manipulation, because that's what it is. You think him bringing me lunch every day last week after I found that after I called it over? Like, I'm done. You think bringing me lunch every day is going to be an apology? No. You think I'm going to want you back after all of that? No. Especially when I have the proof. I know for sure that's what happened. I have the pictures. So, if that's what it takes for me as well, do it. Because I had to do it. And I look at it every day to remind me that this is what happened. And this is real. Regardless of what he says about, oh, you didn't read it wrong. It's delusional. You're taking it out of context. I'm sorry, that picture is naked. And it says, do you want to come over for a good time? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't take that out of context. That's pretty straight to the point. Or I hope your girlfriend sees this so she doesn't forget who you're leaving her for. I'm pretty sure I know what that means. Like, he's convinced I'm delusional and I'm reading it wrong. But it's not. I have the text messages to show that. So if that's what you need to reassure yourself that you're making the right decision, do it. And do it as long as you need to until you're ready to take the next step. Because it took me a long time. I'm not going to say that I jumped the first time that this happened. It took me a few times, but you know what? I'm there now. And I'm free and I'm happy. Then I don't have to stress about this no more. It's like, you know what, girl? You can have him. And you can search his phone and search his car because you're not going to be able to get in because I trained him well. He's got Fort Knox. It's like, trying to get into, Area 57 up in Nevada. You're not, or whatever that station is. You're not going to get in. The military, he's got everything on lockdown. Like, you're not going to get in his phone unless you get his ear to the right, to the left, or whatever it is, right? You're not going to get it without cutting off his fingerprint. You're not going to be able to get into his car because he's got 2 alarms on it now. Yeah, he's got 2 sounding alarms. So he's got the Viper, and then he's got a different kind of alarm. I don't remember. And he also got the fob. And he sleeps with it literally underneath his tush. And the phone as well. So it's not going to be easy to get in and to get the evidence like I was. Because I've been smart. He wasn't as smart before. I don't know what happened with the ones before. He didn't really want to talk about it. I didn't really ask, to be honest. I was like, wow, a man that doesn't drink, that works, he doesn't smoke, and he's my age. Like, we graduated high school a year apart. Wow, he works. So that I know is he might work, but his money doesn't come to me. He ended up using it for himself, or saving it, or buying things for his people that he's now molding, him trying to get in, his new narcissist supply. So keep that in mind. You got this. You're not losing your mind. Do what you have to do for as long as you need to until you're comfortable with that next decision. Because I have, like I said, hundreds and hundreds of screenshots to convince myself that I'm not losing my mind. Because when he gaslights you, he will convince you, in my case, that I was delusional and I was reading these wrong and something was wrong with me. But deep down inside, I knew the truth. And you know what? I'm happy that it might have taken me a lot longer than it should have. But I know my truth. So know your truth. You got this.